Hey everyone, it's David Michael. It's good to be back. It's been about a week. It seems to be a long time for me anyways, but been busy packing, as I've talked about ad nauseum in my other videos, that I am preparing to move into a new house, which is quite exhausting when you have the amount of music I have, and that's on top of all my other household possessions. But I thought I'd sneak a quick video in. Most of my vinyl, like I said, is packed now. I have little bits and bobs kicking around to keep me company before I move. I move in 13 days now, so it's kind of getting close to the end. I'm really excited to see how my new music room is going to look. There's some exciting possibilities that I'm really looking forward to. But I got some stuff in the mail, and like I said, I kept some stuff aside just to kind of play and keep me company. But apart from that, like I said, it's been a really hectic last couple of weeks, and especially the last week or so since my last video. But I have another Most Wanted that came in the mail. Last month was March, obviously. This is April. And I got my Cream last month that was on my video, if you saw my video of my Most Wanted ones. And that happened really quickly. That was kind of a happy accident. So number 2 follows quickly thereafter. And I'm really excited to get this, and I'll show this at the end of the video. And yeah, I'm gonna get right to it. So like I said, if you're watching this video, cheers everyone. And I'm not sure if I've already said this, but about 13 days until I move, so it's going to be a hectic next couple weeks. And I might have one more video in me before I move. I'm expecting some cool stuff in the mail. So if I have time, I'll feature that. If not, I'll hold it over till when I'm firmly settled into my new house. So I'm going to get right to it. I haven't been out doing a whole lot of thrift store shopping. Just kind of when me and my wife want to kind of go out and blow off some steam from the stress of moving and packing. So if I have anything else other than what I'm showing you, I might have packed it. And as I unpack and when I pull the stuff out, I'll hold it over to one of my next videos. So, but I have one exciting find that I want to show you. This happened last week, maybe Friday, Thursday or Friday. And this album is about 45 years old, 46 years old, and I mention that because for what they were able to do with the primitive early technology at the time was quite amazing, actually. I have their second album, which I love, and I found probably the cleanest copy of this album I've ever seen, and I'm going to show it to you now. It's called a band called Syrinx, and if I hold it upright, it might make more sense for you. Syrinx. Syrinx were an early experimental electronic band, and you know, there's experimental electronic albums that are just kind of unlistenable, and it's bands kind of exploring this new technology that was keyboards and synthesizers and whatnot. And it's not obviously it's 1970s, so it's not going to be an experimental electronic dance album. It's a true experimental album. A lot of people kind of shove them in that progressive rock category, probably out of a lack of knowing where to, if you have to categorize it, that's kind of where people shove it. But it's not really progressive rock in that sense. It's a very listenable album, and which is what's amazing with them is that they were able to take this primitive technology, Syrinx, and they made really palatable, listenable songs. In no way are they pop or kind of contemporary songs for the time. It is experimental. So if you're into really kind of experimental, slightly quirky, really kind of, like I said, maybe it would appeal to people who are into progressive rock or maybe kind of really messed up music of the time. It would kind of fit seamlessly within that stuff if you were kind of to start playing albums and you were kind of fond of that kind of music. So, but to my knowledge, this has never been repressed. It was originally on True North Records in Canada, and it's not the hardest album to find in Canada, because I'm guessing most of their albums were derived and the sales were derived out of Canada. But the album's worth more or desired more outside of Canada. But you very rarely see a really good condition copy of this album, and for $1 at a local thrift store was amazing. Like I said, so I I believe they have 2 albums, and if that's true, then I have them both now. Really nice condition copies of both. And for both, I didn't pay more than $1 each. So, Serenix's first album, like I said, highly recommended stuff. This is their second album. If you really want to hear what they could do with primitive keyboards and technology for 19, and it's not Kraftwerky experimental electronic. It's, like I said, it's I guess like I said, I could see why people would kind of shove it in that corner, because it is it's true progressive music. So with that, cheers once again. That was, to my knowledge, that was my only used find of note anyways. So in the mail, I have not even unwrapped these yet because they just came. I got a copy of the new Steel Panther album. Steel Panther, love them or hate them. I'm quite fond of that 80s metal thing. I grew up with it, with a lot of other things in the 80s, but that was part of, that was all part of my DNA growing up in the 80s. I get the humor. The humor is a little bit too much for a lot of people. I do realize it. I'm fine with it. Anything that could make you laugh these days, I'm all for, and they kind of make me laugh. Sometimes they kind of go a little bit over that line a bit, but I've heard worse. So this is the copy of the new album called Lower the Bar. Like I said, I've not even opened it yet. It just came in the mail, and with it came a copy of their previous album called All You Can Eat, which I have not opened yet either, because these all just came in the mail last week. So I haven't had a chance to open them yet and play it, which I will get to. This is definitely something I don't play when the wife and kids are around. So finding time when they're not around and to play this, hopefully tomorrow. So it's 2 new Steel Panther albums. The new album, Lower the Bar, and their last album, All You Can Eat. That came in the mail. Finally got my copy, and I feel like making a video, and I might make a video about Depeche Mode, and not about the music, about what's going on with their ticket sales in North America. Sounds like a boring video, but it's quite enlightening actually, and I might make that video. Where me and my wife are taking off at the end of May to go to Europe, and we're going to go see a few of their concerts in Europe and see our daughter who lives in London now, and see some friends in Berlin. But this will be the second time we've gone to Europe to follow them around and kind of see a lot of shows as an excuse to go to Europe and explore the world. But the way they're handling the ticket sales in North America is very dubious at best. And I feel a rant video coming on for this, because as much as I love Depeche Mode, I'm really angry about how things kind of went down. So having said that, this is a new album finally came in the mail, and what I paid for this album and what I had to do to get this album, it's part of the video that I think I'm going to make. Anyways, here's the new album called Spirit. It's getting rave reviews. I just read a 5-star review in a magazine I just got. I kind of discount the fans, because the Depeche Mode fans have blinders on for the most part, where they can't admit to themselves when the band has made a crap album, and they've made some of them for the last 10-15 years. So I kind of push them aside. I don't listen to what Depeche Mode hardcore fans say anyways. My wife loves it. We listened to it 2 or 3 times. I'm kind of on the fence at the moment. It's one of those albums that I'm going to have to listen to a few more times. It's a very down album. It's a very politically charged, motivated album, which is fine with me. I'm not really, like I said in other videos, I'm not really a lyric person. Although I can kind of pick up what they're talking about, what they're ranting about on this album. The music is what kind of speaks to me, and the music, it's very down. So, and I'm not craving for dance floor Depeche Mode. I would like something with a little bit more flow and groove to it. So I think this is going to be a grower. Like I said, I seem to be the odd man out for this album. Who's not a cynical Depeche Mode hater, or not a who I've read people kind of dumping on this album, but they dump on everything. And I'm not a hardcore Depeche Mode fan that has blinders on, where everything is the best thing ever. So, like I said, my wife loves it. really loves it, and I'm kind of on the fence at the moment. There's a couple of songs that I think that are, yep, look, that's great, Depeche Mode. I said, and the rest of it's going to take a few more listens to it. So that came in the mail. And like I said, I think this is going to result in it's going to result in a video talking about what they've done with ticket sales in North America. So it's quite interesting. So my next find, I guess I did find it on the internet. I clicked order and it came to my door. So to that extent, I found it at my doorstep. Hawkwind. This is the last Hawkwind album I needed. I'm trying to think of what to call this period of Hawkwind. This is probably the last of what I would say is kind of classic Hawkwind. Although this isn't space rock by any means. If you know this album, you'll know this album. But now I have everything up until this album, PXR5. And this album is kind of, it's an electrical socket looking out. If that's interesting to you. I'm trying to think of what year this was now. I'm kind of drawing a blank now, but Robert Calvert's on this album, which is what is important to me. I'm a big Robert Calvert fan when he was in Hawkwind. This is a couple albums removed from when Lemmy left. This is more of a, it's very, I don't want to throw the word punk out there, but there's definitely some kind of punk influence in there. It's a little bit more mainstream. Like I said, they were now removed from that space rock Hawkwind. And the only album that I'm not going to own from them on vinyl is, what's it called, Amazing Sounds, that album. I'm not into that album at all, but this is the last one I needed from what I would consider kind of essential Hawkwind. It's essential for me where there's a lot of really, even though it's not the space rock Hawkwind that I love, there's still some good stuff on it, and it's mainly because of Robert Calvert is on this album. So this, and if you recall my last video where one of my videos where I was making my top 10 most wanted, I had said that I'm not buying Amazon clearance stuff. This was ordered before I made that decision. So this had been in the mail for a while, but this was an Amazon clearance item. Like I said, for Hawkwind reissues, just wait it out on Amazon. It might take a few months. They all go to clearance. And this was $14.99 double gray vinyl. Not sure if you're interested in seeing it. But all the Hawkwind reissues so far have been on colored vinyl, which is kind of nice. And another, like I said, I've been talking about this for a while, making a Hawkwind video. For those who are wanting to explore Hawkwind, to me, this would be their last, one of their last kind of essential albums. I think, to me, Levitation is maybe their last kind of true must-have album. But that's a whole other video now. But Hawkwind came in the mail, and that kind of completes that that first era of Hawkwind to me. Although they were kind of into their second era, but that essential period of Hawkwind. And I was waiting. This was probably the least of my most wanted Hawkwind albums. So I waited and waited and waited, and finally it popped up on Amazon clearance in Canada. So we're on to my second most wanted. That's crossed off the list, and I feel like flipping this album right now. So I've never done this on video. I'm going to flip the album, and I'll tell you why I'm playing this album in a minute. I'm just gonna put it on. There we go. That's a live video of me flipping an album. It's interesting, isn't it? All right, so this is my second in my series of most wanted albums. If you haven't seen that video, go back a couple videos ago. I tell you why I've decided to focus on just getting my most wanted albums. So that's a couple videos back if you want to go back and watch that video. I got a copy of Ministry in case you didn't feel like showing up. This was, it's a 6-song live album. The songs are long, so it kind of feels like a full album. I'm not sure why they never did the full album. Well, it was a concert video. The concert video for this is probably one of the most influential concerts I've ever seen on video. If you know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on YouTube and watch. It's on YouTube. And I had the VHS tape for that. I wore out. It's one of the most amazing live shows. They had that steel fence dividing the crowd and the band, and people would jump on the fence every now and again. An amazing show, and I never quite figured out why they didn't put the full concert on here. But they put 6 songs, and it was a very influential album for me, in case you didn't feel like showing up live. It kind of, for me, it redefined what a live show could be. Not so much on audio, but the visual aspect of it. And on top of that, it's the performance. It was on the Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste tour. And on stage, there was a veritable who's who. Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys joins them on that show on the video, and I can't remember if it's Ogre from Skinny Puppy is on that album. He plays keyboards on that album, and it's just an amazing live concert. And the album itself, I must have worn out the cassette I don't know how many times playing this. So my second most wanted has come in the mail. Ministries, in case you feel like showing up live. This is that period right before they went full on kind of, you know, go as fast as you can, I'll see you at the end of the song kind of Ministry. This still has that kind of experimental Ministry keyboard sound with the hard guitars in it. Like I said, it's on the tour for A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which to me is their best album. So there you go. I've talked too much about that album. So that was my second most wanted that come in the mail, and I'm really liking this. Saving my money and going after my most wanted. I'm gonna get to this point where I'm after $100 albums, so I might not complete the list, but I'm gonna give it a good try. All right, so I'm not sure if you noticed, but I'm playing Willie Nelson, Red-Headed Stranger, and I don't really know why I'm talking about this, but I've been listening to. It was my dad's birthday over the weekend on April 1st. April Fool's Day was my dad's birthday. And my dad passed away about 5 years ago. And I've referenced my dad a few times in videos. For the sake of, he's probably the most influential person in my life for music. And he was the most supportive person in my life. And he passed away suddenly about 5 years ago. And it was his birthday, and he was my best friend, and I don't take his death or his birthday lightly. I don't talk about it with people. It's kind of a private thing, and here I am talking to you about it, so it's not so private anymore. But I grew up on a steady diet of everything, but primarily Willie Nelson was a mainstay in my house. Johnny Cash. So my dad took me to my first ever concert. The first ever concert that I paid my own money was Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister, 1984 on the Power Slave tour. But my dad took me to my first ever concert when I was a very small boy. He took me to see Charlie Rich, if you know the country artist Charlie Rich. That was my first ever concert when I was a young boy, and I still recall that concert, every moment of it. And I can't remember how old it was, 6, 7, but I still remember it to this day. So, like I said, my dad passed away about 5 years ago now, and it's hard to think in terms of length of time. It's been too long. And his birthday, like I said, was April 1st, and I don't. I take this moment in time to around the time of his birthday to kind of not to be a downer, but like I said, I grew up with this music, and I grew up with a lot of things from him. He was, like I said, he was a very important person in my life. So you might be wondering, why am I playing Willie Nelson? It's very, it's not something you would normally see in one of my videos. But I kind of have a lot of my dad in me, where our musical interests are all over the place. And if you still have your parents around, not to preach, you don't come to my videos to hear me preach. But let's just take for argument's sake that your parents are still around. Cherish them, because my dad went really suddenly. It was very unexpected, very suddenly. And he had, the last year of his life, he had moved in with me. I was a single parent at the time, and I was engaged to be married, but I wasn't married yet. So I wasn't living with my wife, and so I had a really great last year of his life living with me, and my son had a great time living with him for the last year. And like I said, he just went really suddenly one day, and you know, obviously if you've lost a parent, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I would be remiss if I didn't kind of publicly acknowledge my dad on April 1st, although this video is a few days late. If I didn't publicly acknowledge just what a, you know, there's been things, there have been things that have been a bigger influence, like there are things or events. But as far as people go, he was the greatest influence of my life for music. Always supported my wanting to own a record store, or, you know, be in that whole area of music. And like I said, just supported in everything I ever did. And like I said, keeping those albums that I grew up with, my dad loved. It's very, it feels very comfortable, and it's a good place to go back to. And it's funny how music can do that. I put this album on and I just have 100 memories. I can put on Johnny Cash next and I'll have 100 more memories. And I can put on Talking Heads that my dad loved and I'll have 100 more memories. So like I said, if your parents are still around, cherish them. You don't need me preaching to you, but it's a lesson I learned. You know, life is too short to take your parents for granted, especially if you had great supportive parents like I did. You know, so not to end the video on a downer, I just wanted to kind of, like I said, publicly acknowledge my dad. And if you've made it this far, I just noticed that I passed 600 subs. Not that that's incredibly, it's what it is. It's not a monumental number. It's kind of in between numbers. But I feel like I should probably do something in my new house when I move and I'm settled and I should do a contest of some kind. So I'll be doing that. Maybe I'll wait for a 666 contest. Who knows when that'll come. But I'll acknowledge that kind of milestone in one of my future videos when I'm unpacked and settled. So like I said, I want to wrap this up by giving a big cheers to my dad wherever you are. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So I might have another video in me. We'll see how things go. So if you've watched this far and if you're watching my videos, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to end it right here. So take care and we'll see you next time.